Right now, you can take a shower, wash your hair, brush your teeth, put on clean clothes, and cover your armpits with something called fresh scent. Then you walk outside and feel normal. But normal is a trick. For most of human history, there was no shampoo, no washing machine, no deodorant, no toothpaste, no private bathroom, and no drawer full of clean shirts. So here is the uncomfortable question. Did ancient humans smell bad? The honest answer is yes. Ancient humans probably smelled much stronger than you do, but they probably did not smell bad to each other in the way a modern person imagines. Because bad smell is not only biology, it is also culture. Your nose was trained by soap. If you grow up with detergent, deodorant, toothpaste, air freshener, sealed trash bags, and clean laundry, then the normal human body begins to smell wrong very quickly. One hot afternoon without a shower can make a modern person feel disgusting. But that is not because the body suddenly became unnatural. It is because modern cleanliness changed the baseline. Ancient humans lived with a different baseline. They smelled sweat, smoke, wet earth, animal hides, cooked meat, old ashes, plants, breath, bodies sleeping close together, and the places where people went to the bathroom. To them, the world itself had a smell. A clean human did not mean a human who smelled like nothing. It meant a human who did not smell sick, rotten, infected, dangerous, or socially wrong. That difference matters. Your body produces odor even when nothing is wrong. Fresh sweat is not always the main problem. The stronger smell appears when skin bacteria break down substances from sweat and oils, especially in places like armpits and groin. Ancient humans had all of that. They walked long distances, carried food, ran, climbed, dug, butchered animals, sat near fire, slept in groups, and wore the same skins or fibers. Again and again, they got smoke in their hair, they got fat, blood, dirt, and plant sap on their hands. They had breath after eating meat, roots, berries, insects, fish, or whatever the landscape provided. So if you dropped a modern person into a Paleolithic camp, the first thing they might notice would be the smell. Not one smell. A wall of smells: smoke from the fire, damp hides, humans, ash, food, old bones, wet grass, sweat, waste somewhere downwind. It would not smell like a spa. It would smell like life with no filter. But that does not mean ancient people were helplessly filthy. This is where modern imagination gets lazy. We hear no soap and picture people happily covered in dirt forever. But humans are grooming animals. We scratch, wipe, wash, comb, pick, rinse, rub, scrape. And notice when something feels wrong on the skin. Even without modern soap, people can clean themselves with water, sand, ash, clay, leaves, grass, rough stones, shells, or simply by rubbing and rinsing. If there was a river, people could bathe. If there was snow, snow could scrub. If there was sand, sand could remove grease. If there was ash, ash could help cut oil and odor. Ancient humans did not have modern hygiene products, but they had hands, water, fire, memory, and a strong interest in not being covered in things that attract insects or disease. And insects mattered. A sweaty body, a dirty wound, a bloody hide, or old food scraps can bring flies, lice, fleas, and biting insects. That is not just annoying. It is dangerous. Parasites live on bodies. Bites become infected. Flies move between waste and food. Lice hide in hair or clothing. A wound that smells wrong can mean trouble. So grooming was not vanity. It was survival maintenance. Imagine a group sitting near a fire in the evening. One person checks another person's hair. A child scratches. Someone pulls a tiny parasite from a hide. Someone washes blood from a stone tool. Someone moves scraps away from camp, because the smell is bringing insects. None of this requires a mirror. It requires attentions. Smell was also information. Smoke meant fire. Blood meant hunting or injury. Rotten smell meant danger. The sour smell of sickness meant someone needed watching. A wet hide smelled different from a dry one. Ancient humans probably read smells better than we do. Modern life hides odor behind perfume and disinfectant. Ancient life used odor as a warning system. If meat began to rot, everyone noticed. If waste was too close to camp, the air told on it. If clothing or bedding stayed damp too long, the smell changed. If a person was very sick, their body could smell different before anyone had a diagnosis. They did not know microbes, but they knew warning signs. Clothing made the smell problem more complicated. Bare skin can be rinsed, wiped, dried in sun, or covered in dust, but clothing holds sweat. Animal skins hold fat and smoke. Plant fibers hold dirt. Fur holds moisture. Seams and folds create places for lice and fleas to hide. Studies of human lice suggest that body lice, the kind adapted to living in clothing, split from head lice long ago. That is one reason researchers use lice as indirect evidence for early clothing use. That is a strange thought. One clue that humans started wearing clothes is that parasites moved in with us. Clothing helped humans survive cold, sun, wind, scratches, and insects. But clothing also made smell portable. If you wear the same hide again and again, sweat into it, sleep in it, dry it by the fire, and get animal fat on it, that hide becomes part of your personal atmosphere. It might be scraped, aired, smoked, or dried in sun, but it would not smell like a modern cotton shirt. It would smell like smoke, body, animal, weather, and work. And smoke itself mattered. Ancient humans probably smelled smoky all the time. Fire was heat, light, cooking, protection, tool-making, social life, and night. If you sit near fire every evening, your hair, skin, bedding, bags, and clothing absorb smoke. To a modern nose, that might smell intense, but smoke could also help repel some insects, dry things, mask other odors, and preserve food or hides. For ancient humans, smoky smell may not have meant dirty. It may have meant home. This is why the question, did they smell bad, is harder than it looks. Bad to whom? To you, with shampooed hair and clean laundry? Probably yes. To them, not automatically. Human noses adapt. Stay in a place with a strong smell long enough, and your brain begins to turn the volume down. A camp that shocks a visitor may become normal to the people living inside it. Every home has a smell. Every person has a smell. You usually notice other people's odors more than your own because your brain stops treating your own smell as news. Ancient humans lived inside a shared cloud of familiar smells. That does not mean no one cared. They almost certainly cared. But they cared by ancient standards. Was a person healthy? Was a wound clean? Was waste kept away from sleeping places? Were hides drying correctly? Were parasites spreading? Did someone smell like sickness, blood, smoke, sex, fear, or strange outsiders? Smell was social information. Then there was breath. Ancient humans did not have plastic toothbrushes, mint toothpaste, floss packets, or dentists. But again, no modern products does not mean no cleaning. People could chew sticks, fibrous plants, tough roots, or use water, fingers, and abrasive particles to clean teeth in partial ways. Hunter-gatherer diets were often less packed with refined sugar than modern diets, which could reduce some kinds of tooth decay. But ancient mouths were not perfect. Teeth wore down from grit in food. Abscesses happened. Gum disease happened. Bad breath happened. A broken tooth or infected mouth could become life-threatening. So ancient humans may not have smelled like candy mints, but they also did not spend all day eating sticky processed snacks. Their mouths had different problems. Then farming changed the smell story. Mobile hunter-gatherer camps could move. If waste built up, if insects became too thick, if food scraps rotted, if bedding became dirty, the group could leave. The landscape could absorb the mess over time, but settled villages changed the math. More bodies lived close together. Animals lived nearby. Trash, manure, smoke, stored food, damp houses, waste pits, and crowded rooms all began sharing the same air. Civilization did not simply make humans cleaner. At first, in many ways, it made smell bigger. A small moving camp can be smoky and sweaty. A dense settlement can become sour, smoky, animal-heavy, and filthy in ways a mobile camp avoids. The more humans gathered, the more they needed washing places, waste areas, drains, toilets, baths, soap, and public health systems. Cleanliness became engineering. But before all that, humans still had one simple tool: water. If people lived near safe water, they could rinse bodies, hands, tools, hair, containers, and hides. If they lived in dry places, washing had a cost. You do not waste precious water just to smell nicer. So smell depended on environment. A river camp and a dry plain did not smell the same. A winter camp and a summer camp did not smell the same. A healthy group and a sick group did not smell the same. There was no single ancient smell. There were seasons of smell, and ancient humans would probably smell us too. If you brought a person from 40,000 years ago into a modern city, they might not think, wow, everyone smells clean. They might think, why does everything smell fake? Perfume, plastic, gasoline, hot asphalt, disinfectant, laundry fragrance, restaurant grease, air conditioning, hospital cleaner. Modern life is not odorless. It is full of manufactured smells. We did not remove smell from life. We replaced natural body smells with industrial ones. And then we decided the industrial ones meant clean. So did ancient humans smell bad to a modern nose very often? Yes, they smelled of sweat, smoke, earth, animals, hides, food, breath, weather, and everything their day had touched. But to each other, they probably smelled like people, sometimes dirty, sometimes dangerous, sometimes comforting, sometimes embarrassing, sometimes attractive, sometimes sick, sometimes simply alive. Your ancestors did not live in a world without smell. They lived in a world where smell mattered. Today, you can wash away your body and walk into the world smelling like a product. Your ancestors walked into the world smelling like the world.